All right, guys, good morning. Today is Wednesday. We do not have school tomorrow. So because of that, we're going to be doing all of your review that we normally do on Thursday today. And then because of that, also, we're not going to be doing our CRC. I'm going to be reviewing a little bit of it. And then we're not going to be in breakout rooms for your digital trifold today, just because I want to make sure that we get through all of your lessons. And so if you need to review anything before your test on Friday, you're able to do that. All right, guys. So if you have, I noticed that some of you have hands raised, but since we do have a big day, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. And then if it's something that I think I need to answer now, then I'll pause the video and I'll help you guys out. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to be in your literature anthology. So open up your big books, please, guys. It's your big book. Your literature anthology is your big book. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading your next story.
Read.
Which is going to be beetles. And luckily today is a short story since we're working on poems.
Genre, poetry. Essential question. What do we love about animals? Read poems that express what we love about animals. Beetles by Monica Shannon. Beetles must use polish. They look so new and shiny, just like a freshly painted car, except for being tiny.
And then let's do The Little Turtle.
The Little Turtle by Vachel Lindsay. There was a little turtle. He lived in a box. He swam in a puddle. He climbed on the rocks. He snapped at a mosquito. He snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow, and he snapped at me. He caught the mosquito. He caught the flea. He caught the minnow, but he didn't catch me.
All right, and so those were both poems. And and then we also have The Gray Goose. However, we aren't going to be testing on it. So if you want to read The Gray Goose on your own, you're more than welcome to do that. All right. What I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be going to Google Classroom and I'm going to be showing you guys your CRC pages and your turn pages for today. And then you will do, I did cross out your CRC. However, I didn't cross out your turn since I think that it's going to help you guys with your test. So your turn, you will be doing this on your own. You're going to be doing this on your own. Okay. All right, here we go. So for your CRC, we're on page 62. So I'm just going to show you guys it. Here we go. Okay, Beetles, the Little Turtle. What does the author compare beetles to? How does this help you create a picture in your mind of what a beetle is like? Reread page 207 and look at the illustration of the beetles. How are the beetles like cars? So let's go ahead and reread.
Beetles by Monica Shannon. Beetles must use polish. They look so new and shiny, just like a freshly painted car, except for being tiny.
So the beetles are tiny, and we know that cars are big, but what makes them similar? In the poem, it says that they both look new and shiny. So comparing beetles to freshly painted cars helps me picture, and then we're going to finish that sentence, what a beetle looks like. I can visualize a shiny new car. Beetles have shiny backs and move around like cars, but they are much smaller than a car. Now, how does the poet use words to create rhythm in The Little Turtle? Read the poem, The Little Turtle, aloud with a partner. Talk about how the poem sounds. Write the words that repeat and the words that rhyme in each stanza. So now let's go ahead and reread The Little Turtle.
The Little Turtle by Vachel Lindsay. There was a little turtle. He lived in a box. He swam in a puddle. He climbed on the rocks. He snapped at a mosquito. he snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow, and he snapped at me. He caught the mosquito, he caught the flea, he caught the minnow, but he didn't catch me.
All right. And then just remember, I'm just reviewing this with you guys since this will be on your test. So it's important for you guys to know. So we're just talking through it. So the stanza words that repeat is he snapped, he caught. And then words that rhyme are box and rocks, flea and me, and then again, flea and me. The poet creates rhythm by repeating words at the beginning of many lines and rhyming words at the end of some lines. So there's rhythm by the same words that repeat. He snapped, he caught, okay? All right, guys, let's go ahead and now move on to your turn. All right, now for your turn, we have pages 97 to 98. Make sure you guys are staying focused. And you guys are going to be doing your turn on your own today, on your own. Oops. All right, here we go. Ready? The robin. A robin gathers twigs and fluff and sticks and strings and other stuff. She chooses things she likes the best and weaves them in to build her nest. How do you know that this text is a poem? It has rhythm and rhyming words. Okay. A robin gathers twigs and fluff and sticks and strings and other stuff. She chooses things she likes the best and weaves them in to build her nest. Rhythm, and then she also has rhyming words, fluff and stuff, best and nest. How many beats do you hear in each line? I hear 8 beats in each line. Robin gathers twigs and fluff. Okay, let's count those. A robin gathers twigs and fluff. That's going to be 8. And sticks and strings and other stuff. That's 8. She chooses things she likes the best. 8. And weaves them in to build her nest. So if you count the syllables, there are 8 beats in each line. Why do you think the poet uses rhythm? And so you could have whatever answer why you think. And this person wrote to emphasize, so to make important the things the robin used to build her nest. And then here we have multiple meaning words, which is going to be on your test. Read the lines from the poem. Circle the meaning of the word in bold print. So multiple meaning words, again, have more than one meaning. Use other words in the sentence to figure out which meaning is being used. You'll never find a tortoise at sea. It lives on land. That's where it should be. So does land mean on the ground or to come down from above? And it means this one is the land because it says it's like the opposite of the sea. A tortoise wears a hard outer shell that always works to serve it well. Now we know it's not like a well, like in the water, because it says that it works to serve it well. So it's working in a good way. It has 4 stumpy legs and 4 tortoise feet. So here it's a part of the body. That's the word that we're using. When a tortoise doesn't know where to hide, it just pulls its head and 4 limbs inside. So that would be its 4 legs. Tortoises don't have tree branches. And then for a tortoise is a marvel of the animal pack. It carries its home right on its back. And then for this one, pack is a group of animals, an animal pack. We're not putting things in a suitcase. So that's why it's very important to read so you understand certain words that have multiple meanings. All right, guys. So you guys can look at your turn answers to help you guys with those. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on our digital trifold all together. So I'm going to pause the video to give you guys time to get to your digital trifold. So everybody go ahead and do that now. I'm going to be checking Go Guardian. To get to your digital trifold, you're going to go to Google Classroom, click on classwork, scroll all the way down to ELA. And I know it's not Thursday, but we don't have school on Thursday. So you're going to open up your Wonders digital trifold right now. All right, so here's our digital trifold. We're on slide 28, or 29 or 27. It's gonna be a blue box and it's gonna say Beatles by Monica Shannon and then The Little Turtle by Vachelle Lindsay. The genre is poetry. The essential question is, what do we love about animals, okay? Now, how is a beetle compared to a car? Give specific examples and page numbers. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna say on page 207, and then it says that they are both shiny and new, right? Beetles must use polish. They look so new and shiny, just like a freshly painted car, except for being tiny. So, they're new and shiny. And then I'm not gonna write a complete sentence. If you would like to write a complete sentence, you are more than welcome to. And then I'm gonna make this big so you guys can read it. And then I'm also gonna put it in the chat. Okay, next one. Why do you think the turtle snapped at so many things? Give specific examples and page numbers.
The Little Turtle by Vachelle Lindsay. There was a little turtle. He lived in a box. He swam in a puddle. He climbed on the rocks. He snapped at a mosquito. He snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow, and he snapped at me.
So,
He caught the mosquito. He caught the flea. He caught the minnow, but he didn't catch me.
so what do you guys think? Why do you guys think, so put it in the chat. Why do you guys think the turtle was snapping at so many things? Why do you guys think the turtle was snapping at all those things? Very good, Sierra, for food. Jewels, can you go ahead and type it in the chat? Thank you. Why do you think the turtle snapped at so many things? And then this is page 208. Go ahead and put it in the chat, love, okay? Page 208, to eat. And I'm just gonna write that, especially today, since we've got a lot of things to go over. So if you want to write a complete sentence, you are more than welcome to. Now, understanding poetry. Describe the turtle in the little turtle poem. Find images that show the turtle in the little turtle poem and insert them below. So, for this one, how we would do that, that's kind of hard to do since you guys would have to know how to screenshot, and we've never gone over that in class. So what you guys can do instead is, let's just leave this blank. If you want, you can actually insert an image. So if you look at the picture here, there is a picture of that smiling turtle, right? I don't know how to do that for you guys. Well, I'll just show you guys on my computer. So we'll do screenshotting another day. So what we can do is you would take a picture of that turtle and we notice that he's smiling, right? We're going to insert that image. I'm going to upload it from the computer. And then that's how I screenshotted the image. Now I know that we're still learning how to do that. So instead, if you aren't able to screenshot like that, what you can just do is you can insert image, search the web. And then what you can do is you can just write a happy turtle. And then just pick a turtle that's smiling. And then insert that instead. There we go. Okay. Now describe the turtle in the little poem. And so you could say that he's happy. How do we know that? Because he's smiling. And not only that, but he's swimming in puddles, he's climbing on rocks, so he's being very active. And then he's also catching all of these yummy food items. So I'm just going to write that he is happy. And if you want to explain more in details, you are more than welcome to do that. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to finish this up, and then we're going to move on to the next page. All right, grammar, possessive nouns. Write the correct possessive form of the noun. The toys that belong to the baby. So we're going to call that the baby's toys. And it's just one baby. So we have to do apostrophe S. It's just one baby. So you have to separate the S with an apostrophe. The books that belong to the student. It's just one student. So you're going to write the student's books, apostrophe S. So you have to separate the S because it's just one student. The tail of the dog, the dog's tail. It's just one tail. I'm sorry. It's just one dog. So you have to separate the S, D-O-G apostrophe S. The coat that belongs to the boy. And then again, it's just one boy. So the boy's coat, apostrophe S, B-O-I apostrophe S. And then these are all compound words. You're going to write these compound words here. So this is a jellyfish. And I'm typing them in the chat for you guys. This is a cupcake. It's a compound word, cup and cake. This is a watermelon. It's made up of the words water and melon. And then we've got a rainbow, which is made up of the words rain and bow. Ta-da. All right, guys. Make sure you guys get that done. If you're on YouTube, you're going to pause the video and finish this up. Yes. All right. So the last thing we are going to do. So the last thing we're going to be doing is we're going to review for your Friday assessments right now. Okay, guys. I do want you guys to work on ELA, especially since you guys will be finishing math up a little early today. So make sure you guys do your 5 things after math, then work on your turn. And then I would review this video again so that you guys are prepared for your test on Friday. So let's go ahead and review for that test. So your first test that you guys are going to be taking is your selection test, okay? Read each item below carefully and choose the correct answer. Read the dictionary entry below. Which of the following words is defined in the entry above? So we have the verbs moving up and down, swinging or swaying about loosely. Can you guys put it in the chat? What do you guys think is our vocabulary word for moving up and down, swinging or swaying about loosely? Very good, Russell. Flapping is correct. Number 2, which of the following animals has feathers? Which of the following animals have feathers? Very good, Ray. Birds. Number 3, which word means put into words? So if you're trying to put into words how you're feeling. Very good. Express. Good job, Russell and Daniel and Lucas and Ray. When you're trying to put something into words, you're trying to express yourself. If you're trying to say, I don't know, I'm feeling like my hands are sweaty and my heart's racing and my stomach feels weird. Oh, you must be nervous. I think you're trying to express. I think you're trying to put into words how you're feeling. I think you're trying to express that you're feeling nervous. Okay. The word behave means what? The word behave means if I'm saying, okay, you have to behave, you have to act well. Very good, guys. Number 5, a form of writing that expresses imagination or feelings is, and it's what we've been doing all week. What have we been working on? Poems. Very good, Ray. A poem. Good job, Daniel. Good job, Ava, Danica, and Russell. Okay, number 6. Repeating beats in a poem. Good job, Maylee. Repeating beats in a poem is called what? Ba, 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 ba. Good job, Lucas and Russell. F, which is rhythm. Rhythm. Repeating beats in a poem is called rhythm. Rhythm. Number 7, which word rhymes with flee? Which word rhymes with flee? Me. Very good, Ava and Ray. Me. And Lucas and Danica and Russell. Number 8, and Daniel. Good job. Word choice means, and this one's going to be kind of hard. Word choice means using colorful, exact words. So it's going to be G. Word choice means using colorful and exact words. Think of like the Beatles story, shiny and new. Those are colorful, exact, precise words. When we use word choice, we're using specific, exact, colorful words, okay? Don't forget that. Number 1, how are the poems the same? So we have 2 poems. We have the poem about the turtle, and then we have a poem about the beetle. They both describe turtles? No. They both describe people? No, it's about beetles and turtles. Very good, Sierra. Good job, Ray. They both describe living things. Only the first one compares the beetle to the car. So they both describe living things. The living things are the turtle and then the beetle. Okay, number 2, in the poem Beetles, what does the poet say beetles are like? In the poem Beetles, what does the poet say beetles are like? Like a freshly painted car. Very good. Not an old car, a new shiny car. So that would be a freshly painted car. Good job, Angelica. Good job, everybody. Okay, number 3, reread Beatles. Which words rhyme? Shiny and car, polish and car, shiny and tiny, or freshly and tiny? Very good, Ray and Ava and Sierra and Lucas and Christian and Nicholas. Shiny and tiny. And Maylee and Russell and Danica and Daniel. Very good. Shiny and tiny. Good job, Kendall. Good job, Jason. Okay, number 4. In the poem, The Little Turtle, where does the turtle live? Ooh, you might have to reread.
The Little Turtle by Vachel Lindsay. There was a little turtle. He lived in a box. He swam in a puddle. He climbed on the rocks. He snapped at a mosquito. He snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow, and he snapped at me. He caught the mosquito. He caught the flea. He caught the minnow, but he didn't catch me.
Very good. I see a lot of you guys putting the right answer in. In the poem, the little turtle lives in a box. Very good. And then the last one, reread the second stanza of the little turtle. He snapped at a mosquito. He snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow. And he snapped at me. Which words are repeated in each line? He snapped at a mosquito, and he or at me. Very good, Aaron. Very good, Ava. Very good, Russell. Very good, Ray and Christian and Nicholas and Ava and Danica and Maylee and Lucas and Angelica and Sierra and Daniel. The correct answer is he snapped at. Good job, guys. All right, guys. So that was going to be your selection test. What we're going to do now is we're going to review for your comprehension test. Now, your comprehension test is a much longer test because you have to be able to read 2 different stories that come with that test. So let's go ahead and read those stories first. And you're going to notice that this one, the story itself is not a poem, but there will be a poem in the story. Ready? Dinner's ready, Max, called Grandma. Max loved Grandma, but he did not like to spend the night at her house. Grandma did not have a computer, and her television had hardly any channels. Instead, Grandma liked to write. She was good at it too. She had written a whole book of poems. After dinner, Max helped clean up. He saw food scraps on the counter and started to dump them in the trash. Stop, said Grandma. I say food scraps. She placed the scraps in a bowl. She put in slices of potato and carrot. Then she added a chunk of bread. Why are you doing that? Asked Max. It is for my friends, laughed Grandma. You will see them tomorrow. The next morning, Grandma woke Max very early. My friends are here, she whispered. Max was confused and did not understand what Grandma meant. He followed her to the back door. She put a finger to her lips so he would be quiet. Shh. Max stepped outside. The sun was just rising. Max saw shapes in the yard. They were raccoons. The raccoons sat on the big tree stump eating food. It was the food scraps. So those are your friends? Whispered Max. Grandma nodded and asked, Can you spot another friend under my apple tree? Max saw a deer eating an apple off the ground. Squirrels ran up and down the trunk of an oak tree. Grandma explained that she got a lot of ideas for her poems by watching the animals. Max thought about that as a skunk walked by. He watched its tail wave like a black and white flag. Later that morning, Max went to his room. When he came out, he handed Grandma a poem. Grandma's friends are small and furry. They move about in such a hurry, but Grandma gives them snacks to eat. My time with her just can't be beat. Grandma smiled as she read the poem. She held it to her heart and she said, It's the best poem I ever read. Now, Max loved Grandma, but he did not like to spend the night at her house. Which sentence uses spend in the same way it is used in the sentence above? So this is, again, multiple meaning words, which we talked about. So what do you guys think? But he did not like to spend the night at her house. Well, it's not going to be A because he's not spending money. That spend means like you're spending money on something. Rosa wants to spend the day in the park. That does look right, Lucas and Ray and Ava. Let's see. How does she spend to buy that toy? How much did she spend? Okay, that's talking about money again. So not money. And then D, I had to spend a lot of energy fixing my bike. And that one is spending energy. So the only one that's talking about spending time, because Max is spending the night and Rosa is spending the day, is B. So very good, Christian and Maylee and Danica and Jason and Russell and Daniel and Ava and Ray and Lucas and Ava. The answer is B. B. Rosa wants to spend the day in the park. Okay, number 2, put the events of the story in the correct order. Write the number 1, 2, or 3 to the left of each box to show the correct order of events. So which one happens first? Which one happens first, guys? Read those options and tell me which one happens first. Nicholas, stay on task. Nobody can tell me? Okay, you guys are putting in the order, but I want you guys to tell me which one happens first. So write it in the chat. The first thing that happens is Max helps to clean up after dinner. So that's the first thing that happens. Max helps to clean up dinner. That's number 1. And then you're right, guys. I see Daniel and Lucas put 2. Grandma puts the food scraps outside. And then what's the last thing? Max watches the animals. Very good, guys. All right, moving on to question number 3. Squirrel ran up and down the trunk of an oak tree. Which sentence uses trunk in the same way it is used in the sentence above? And then remember, this is multiple meaning words. What do you guys think? Okay, let's read our options. Many thick branches grow from the trunk. He packed up the clothes in an old trunk. That's like a suitcase. The huge elephant lifted its long trunk. Okay, that's like his nose. Put your skates in the trunk of the car. That's the back of the car. So the only one that talks about a trunk on a tree is going to be A. Many thick branches grow from the trunk, and that's from a tree. And we know that because it uses the word branches. So A. Very good. Number 4. Which animals does Max see outside? Pick 2. What are the 2 animals he sees outside, guys? So you have to pick 2 choices. Very good. I see someone says a deer. And then someone says a raccoon. Deer and raccoon are correct. It is not a chipmunk. He sees a squirrel, but squirrel's not one of our options. So the only 2 that you would pick is a deer and a raccoon. And then the last question before we move on to our next story. This question has 2 parts. Why is Grandma happy at the end of the story? Why is Grandma happy? So let's see. Max shows that he likes to spend time with her. That is true. He does like to spend time with her. And he says that because in his poem, he writes, my time with her just can't be beat. So and Grandma smiles. So she's happy because Max likes to spend time with her. So I think it's A, but let's keep going on. Max plans to give food scraps to the animals. No, he doesn't want to do that at the end. They've already done that in the beginning of the story. Max wants to write a book of poems too. No, he does not say that he wants to write a book of poems. Max says that he has animal friends too. No, those were his first time having animal friends. He's never had animal friends until his grandma. So it's not B, it can't be C, it's not D. So what is the best answer? Very good, Kendall and Maylee and Ava and Lucas and Ray. It is A, very good. Part B of that. Which sentence from the story best shows why Grandma is happy? So A, Max was confused and did not understand what Grandma meant. B, Grandma explained that she got a lot of ideas for poems by watching the animals. C, later that morning, Max went to his room. D, she held it to her heart as she said, it's the best poem I ever read. Which of those ones show that she's happy? Very good, Christian, Russell, Jason, Danica, Ava, Ray, Kendall, Lucas. It is D. She held it to her heart as she said, it's the best poem I ever read. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to read the next story. And it looks like we have just enough time to go over the story and the questions. Beep, beep, Tuck to the rescue. Beep, beep. Tuck lifted his head at the sound. It was Jeff's radio telling him a message was coming in. Jeff was Tuck's owner and trainer. Jeff and Tuck worked for the mountain rescue team. They helped find and rescue people who got lost on the mountain. Jeff spoke into the radio. We are on our way. Tuck jumped up, wagging his tail. Jeff slid Tuck's backpack on and snapped on his leash. Jeff and Tuck ran outside. A helicopter waited in a cloud of swirling snow. Tuck jumped in. He was trained not to be afraid to ride in a helicopter. Jeff got in too. The helicopter rose into the air. It was the quickest way to get them to the mountain. Jeff and the pilot talked about what had happened. That morning, a giant block of snow had broken loose at the top of the mountain. The loose snow slid down quickly. A man had been hiking in the area. The snow had covered the hiker and now he was trapped. They needed to find him fast. The helicopter flew quickly. It touched down on the ground and Jeff and Tuck jumped out. They were in danger here. More snow could slide down at any minute. Still, Tuck was not afraid. He began running in circles across the snow. There was nothing to see but trees and snow. There was no sign of the hiker, but that was not a problem for Tuck. He was not looking for the hiker, he was sniffing for him. Tuck could use his nose to pick up the scent of a person under the snow. Suddenly, Tuck gave a sharp bark. Ruff, ruff. He began digging in the hard snow. Jeff ran to Tuck. "We will get you free as fast as we can," yelled Jeff. Jeff and Tuck kept digging. First, a boot appeared, then a leg. Jeff cleared snow away from the man's face. He was all right, but had hurt his leg. Jeff and the pilot moved the man to a sled and pulled it over to the helicopter. Once everyone was in, the helicopter lifted off and headed to the hospital. Tuck sat close to the man watching him. The man patted Tuck's head. "Thank you," he said softly. Tuck wagged his tail and licked the man's hand. "Tuck is always happy to help," said Jeff with a smile. All right, underline 2 sentences in the paragraph that tell who Tuck needs to rescue. So Jeff and the pilot talk about what had happened. Okay, nope, that's not who he needs to rescue. That morning, a giant block of snow had broken loose at the top of the mountain. Nope, that's not who he has to rescue. The loose snow slid down quickly. Nope, that is not who he has to rescue. A man had been hiking in the area. It was that man, remember? The snow had covered the hiker and now he was trapped. So it's going to be these 2 sentences. These are the 2 sentences that you would highlight because those talk about the man. It talks about the hiker who is trapped in the snow. Okay. Number 7, you guys are going to help me with this one. That morning, a giant block of snow had broken loose at the top of the mountain. Which meaning of block is the same one used in the sentence above? A giant block of snow. Does that mean keep from passing? You're like blocking someone from like the door. A solid piece of something, like a block of ice. A small square wooden toy, like a toy block, or an area of houses along a street, like I live on that block. Which block is this? Very good. A giant block of snow, which is a solid piece of something. Very good, guys. B. Number 8. This question has 2 parts. Why does Tuck suddenly bark? Bark, bark, bark. I don't remember, so I'm going to reread. Suddenly, Tuck gave a sharp bark. He began digging in the hard snow. Jeff ran to Tuck. So what happens before that? Tuck could use his nose to pick up the scent of a person under the snow. So why does he bark? He is afraid. He sees a boot. He smells a person, or he sees snow coming. Very good. I see lots of C's in the chat. Very good. It is correct. He sees snow. He smells a person. He smells a person. Which sentence from the story best shows why Tuck barks? It touched down on the ground and Jeff and Tuck jumped out. There was nothing to see but trees and snow. Tuck could use his nose to pick up a scent of a person under the snow, or Jeff cleared snow away from the man's face. Why does he bark? Because he uses his nose to pick up the scent of a person under the snow. Very good, guys. Number 9, we're almost done. What does Tuck do that Jeff does not? Pick 2 choices. Tuck walks across the snow. Tuck rides in a helicopter. Tuck digs through the snow. Tuck uses smell to find things. Tuck barks when he gets excited. Which of those things does Tuck the dog do? Very good, Lucas. D and E. There are 2 answers. I know some of you guys are saying C, but C, Jeff does dig through the snow. So let's look back. Jeff and Tuck kept digging. So they both were digging. So not only that's something that the person does too. So where are we? Right here. The only thing that the dog does is the Tuck uses smell to find things, and then he also barks. The human does not bark. And then the last question, number 10. He began digging in the hard snow. What does hard mean in the sentence above? Hard means what? He began digging in the hard snow. Very good, not soft. It was actually like hard. It was actually hard. It was not soft. And then part B, which sentence uses hard in the same way? So something that is hard, that is the opposite of soft. Which one? It was hard for me to understand today's lesson. How hard will the sponge get when it dries? My big sister can be hard to please sometimes. I finished the yard work even though it was hard. Very good. How hard will the sponge get when it gets dry? Very good, guys. And you guys, look at the time. We finished with 5 seconds to spare. So you guys are all done. We're all going to come back at 10:15 for math. All right, guys. So you guys are free to leave, and I will see you guys at 10:15 for math.